Let me guess something about you quickly. You have a huge dream that you do anything for. But no matter how hard you try, you always end up giving up when it gets hard. And regardless of the task, how difficult it is, or how enjoyable it is, you just can't seem to keep going. That's definitely not your fault. Because it's not that you don't care. I mean, this is your dream. This is what you do anything for. So why aren't you? And this isn't a call out video. This is a way to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. This is the one thing that makes people give up on their dreams. Routine. It seems so simple, but most people don't know how to put something into a routine without sacrificing everything else in their life. So give me 10 minutes of your time today and we'll make your dream come true. There's a saying that goes, nothing is ever over until you give up for the last time. Which means that no matter how much you fail, as long as you keep going, you'll always get there eventually. It's a nice thought, of course, but it comes with the pretext that you're eventually going to get there. But to get anywhere, we need to stick with it all the way through to the end. So let's learn how to do exactly that. First off, we need to understand exactly how our brain works and why it loves to give up on things. The short answer is, humans are smart. We evolved not to do anything unless there was a reward. We wouldn't wake up in the morning if there was no purpose. We wouldn't go and hunt if there was no food. And we definitely wouldn't pursue our dreams if it was just all hard, unrewarding work. When we perform a task and then get a reward, our brains release dopamine, which makes us happy. It's our fundamental reward system in our bodies. Over time, our brains correlate doing this task with feeling happy due to the reward system. Therefore, we'll always want to go back to this task and do more and more and more work. It sounds great, but it's not always healthy. One example I'm sure you're familiar with, scrolling on TikTok. Every time you swipe, your brain releases a little bit of dopamine. It's an easy task with a low amount of risk and a high amount of reward. That's why we love it so much. Our goal then is making the work between where we are now and where our dream selves are as easy and rewarding as possible. I mentioned this briefly a second ago, but there are three main factors in what makes a task enjoyable. Number one is the difficulty of the task. Number two is the risk level. And number three is the dopamine. Ideally, we want to make our task as easy as possible while being incredibly low risk and giving us a high amount of dopamine. So how do we go about doing that? Well, how do we make something easy? Well, we put it right in front of us. Think about waking up and getting dressed in the morning. How much easier would it be if all your clothes were laid out the night before? To reduce the amount of times we need to think about the task and to reduce the amount of work we need to put in to complete it makes the task easy. If we can't reduce the amount of work for the task, then we need to split up the work. For example, putting our clothes out the night before and then getting dressed in the morning. Another way you can make things unavoidable is by putting your mind in a certain state. For example, if you want to go to the gym in the afternoon, but you have a full day free before that, get changed into your gym clothes in the morning, and then you'll always be thinking about it for the rest of the day. And we can do the inverse of this for things like dieting. If you don't want to eat unhealthy foods, then the simple task is going shopping and not buying them. Another way to eat cleanly is to head down to the link in the description and get the SpartAI app. It logs everything you can think of and shows exact progress towards your goal. Want to lose weight? Done. Want to gain weight? We can do that too. Want to simply make sure that we're eating the right macros? Absolutely fine. Just click the link and sign up. It takes 30 seconds tops. Now we have to reduce the risk of the task. Now, what does this mean in practice? Well, for most people it means either reducing the anxiety around the task or reducing the sacrifice needed for it. Removing anxiety around a task can be done in many ways. Mostly it's done by carving out extra resources to make sure that you're allowed to fail. For example, how much more stressed would you be if you were a painter and you only ever had one canvas? If you could never fail and start over, you'd struggle to ever learn anything and you'd always be worried about getting it done perfectly the first time. Most people have very busy lives, but you don't need to sacrifice all your free time just to get somewhere. Most of the time you can just find a wasted half an hour or 15 minutes here and there just to swap out with something productive. Finally, we need to make the work as rewarding as possible. We do this by setting and completing goals. We do have to do this in a specific way. If the task is too easy, We won't care when we complete the goal. But if it's too hard, we run the risk of not being able to reach it at all and feeling discouraged. The best practice is to find a set goal or set amount of work to do every single day. And once you reach that point, stop. If you're making good progress with this goal, that's absolutely fine. If you're not, maybe up the goal a little bit. The reason we stop is to avoid complete burnout, because again, stopping completely means that we'll never achieve our dream. A very common thing I hear when it comes to weight loss is that it's just too hard, takes up too much time, or it's just too difficult. But if you implement these 3 things into your life, put that work into the routine, you'll get there in no time. So there we go. It was never an issue of willpower, just an issue of management. And of course, if you need any additional help with health or dieting, just go down to the description and download the SpartAI app. It has all the information you'll ever need to track your diet, your macros, your water, your exercise, your progress photos, anything you can think of, we've got it. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel as well and give this video a like. We want to help as many people as we can this year, and you could be a part of that. See ya.